All right, good morning everyone. Happy New Year. I hope all of your resolutions are off to a great start. Statistically, they're probably not, but still wishing you the best. We have a few announcements before I thank the sponsors. We have Culture Community January 11th at the Madison Club next Thursday at 8 a.m. We have, is that really all it for events?
Is anyone new to 1 Million Cups? Is this anyone's first time? Welcome!
Oh. Was this your resolution? I'm sure it was.
So what 1 Million Cups is we meet on a weekly basis on Wednesdays here in the library, and we provide coffee. And really what 1 Million Cups is named for is just that we can support entrepreneurship and the local community by having cups of coffee together. So that's where the 1 Million Cups comes from. I don't know if anyone knows that. But we call it Dolphin Tank as opposed to Shark Tank. So we have a presenter come up and they talk about their business, and we as a community ask questions, help answer their questions without attacking you. So you will not be.
It's quite safe. Well, not as long as you guys are dolphins and not sharks. If there is a shark hiding in the room, you know, please expose yourself. No. Please make yourself known.
The other thing we do here is we'll go around the room and each introduce ourselves and what companies we're with. This is really a good way for you to all know who is in the room, and also for our presenter to know who they're speaking to. The other announcement I have is that we are actually looking to add another board member to the 1 Million Cups organizing team. Dominic, unfortunately, his schedule has just gotten so crazy, so he's traveling a lot. So we're really looking to fill the gap that we have now with recruiting businesses and startups to present. Right now our pipeline is running a little bit dry. We have about 7 companies left, so really looking for someone who is connected in the startup community, who is going to events and networking with other startups to really promote 1 Million Cups and presenting here. So if you're interested, please contact Michael and we'll go from there.
My last little tidbit of information that, I don't know, Diana, maybe you were going to say, but we just found out that 1 Million Cups has an app.
Yeah, did you guys know there was an app?
I did.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's an app. You can download it.
Well, you can check who's presenting every week.
Right. And then, last but not least, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Hi, Pete. Field 59 for the live stream, the library for the good space, Crescendo for the coffee, and Old National Bank as well. So with that, we will kick off introductions. I'm Julianne Slesky with the Madison Club doing business development.
I'm Leah Rowe. I'm with Healthbench, Maven, and Culture Community.
Hey guys, my name is Diana Pastrana. I'm with M&M Office Interiors, and I am a workspace consultant for them, so I help companies acquire furniture and plan out their business.
I'm Michael, also with Healthbench.
I'm Trezzy. I'm a software accessibility consultant, Trezzy.com. I also host the 100 State of Mind podcast, and I'm a co-founder of a tabletop gaming startup called Roll for Guild.
Can't match that. My name is Mark Grassman. I have a business called Business Excellence LLC. We do business consulting of every sort, mostly in the manufacturing space, but done other things too.
Hi, I'm Shannon Flash. I'm a project manager with WPS.
Hey, I'm DP Knudten. My my company's name is Collaborator Creative because I collaborate creatively with a wide variety of individuals and companies on everything from custom writing to nonfiction branding. Sorry, you got to memorize your speech and actually stick to it. I'd like to invite everybody to a talk I'm giving at Dream Bank on January 23rd at noon. It's about the book that Spencer X. Smith and I wrote together called Rotoma, the ROI of social media top of mind. I have 2 copies available, Danny. And I'd love to have you there. If you would want one of these cards as a reminder, just see me after the talk. Thank you.
Cassidy Wortenweiler. I'm with the Wisconsin Technology Council.
I'm Chandra Miller-Feenan. I'm with Starting Block Madison. Presumably all of you know about Starting Block, but we are building an entrepreneurial hub on the 800 block of East Washington Avenue. Will be open up May, June of 2018.
I'm Maurice Falcon. I own my own financial management and accounting practice.
Martin Alvarado, the new Ed. You may have remembered Ed, the Business and Technology Librarian. I have now taken over his role. So if you have any ideas for events such as this one, we're always open to offering this community space, and we would like to collaborate with you. So Also, if you're a software developer, we have Safari books, which you can ask me to put in different books if you want code snippets and things like that. I have these, so if you're in that and want a free resource, I can always put in the collection what you want.
Derek Marley, Consumer Strategy and Analytics at Old National Bank.
Val Rao, Old National Bank.
Zach, I'm a business student.
Morning, Eric Schluter. I'm a field representative for Congressman Mark Pocan.
Yeah, Brian Davis. I actually work for the Old National Bank downtown as well.
Andrew Gonzalez, Commercial Banking at Old National Bank.
Ryan Ladota from Industrious.
Hi, Sarah Coach Lasker. I own Madison T1D Coach LLC. I am a coach for folks with type 1 diabetes to help them become the experts to their type 1 diabetes.
I'm Jonathan Solari. I'm the Major Gifts Officer for Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin.
Courtney Nelson. I'm a freelance designer in graphic design, theater, and museum exhibits.
I'm Derek Gebler, founder of Field 59. We're an online video platform for media companies.
I'm John Byerly. I just moved here last fall from North Carolina. My career has been in finance. My last job was a CFO, but I'm in transition right now. So.
I'm Danny Anderson. Good morning, and I work for Baker Tilly, Warden County.
Pete, do you want to go really quick?
I'm Pete Gabby. I'm with Merrill Lynch, basically manage investments. Good to see everybody. And John, your timing is terrible. I'd be in North Carolina still if I was.
All right, awesome. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to you. I'm just going to give you a heads up that there will be something at the end. We give you a coffee mug as a thank you for presenting, but then you also have to give it to someone in the audience who asks like really good questions.
A really good question.
Yeah.
Hey, that's very good. All right. I guess that I'm the last person that gets to tell you who I am and where I'm from. But first, I'd like to tell you good morning. My name is Jeff Teeting. I'm the managing partner of T3 Investments, a technology and prototyping design firm from Loganville, Wisconsin. I'd like to thank the people of Million Cups for the opportunity to actually speak today. And of course the Madison Library for giving us such a wonderful facility to actually have this in. And then of course to all of you for coming here and listening today to what we're talking about. T3 is a technology design and development prototyping company. Our staff is dedicated to solving some of the real practical problems that we face as individuals around the country. At T3, we make the impossible possible. Does that sound like a stretch to any of you? It's really not. We believe that when you're confronted with a real, tangible problem, that the only reasonable or the only valuable conversation to have is how to solve that problem with a product that's economically feasible and commercially viable. And with that, it seems like I'm having a little bit of problems here. This is supposed to actually start right here. You need a flood barrier system that'll protect your assets, your business, your home, manufacturing facility, critical infrastructure, and protect it in a way that no insurance policy or government program can. That's something that we've done. We created the Rapid Guard Flood Barrier System, which will protect buildings, critical infrastructure, manufacturing facilities, EMS facilities from flooding for up to 7 feet of water. It's kind of like a miniature Great Wall of China, is what we say. The system is a system that only 2 people can put up in just a matter of hours around a structure. There is some work that has to be done prior to that. There is a sidewalk on steroids that goes around the outside of the area that you're going to protect. but that's all that's showing the rest of the time. So when a flood approaches, you set the product up. When the flood waters go back down, you take the product down, store it. It can be reused multiple times. You know, do any of you really think that it sounds like interesting technology? Yeah, others think so too. We were fortunate enough to compete in the Wisconsin Governor's Business Plan Contest last year, and we were finalists. We'd like, of course, to thank the Wisconsin Technology Council for that. Cassidy's here right now with Tom Stills and Angela and Laura. If you haven't met that group, you really should. They're wonderful people. And I did a presentation for Wisconsin Emergency Management last year, and I had the honor of meeting their commanding officer, Major General Don Dunbar. And after he had taken a look at the product, he said that, he told me, he was like, you know, it's needed technology. It's very interesting, and just keep up that kind of work. So that was a real pump. And then, you know, that's not the only thing that we do, though. As a company, we want to continue to solve problems. One of the problems that we found is that in trailer systems, you normally have a major safety concern is falling. Do you know how many deaths actually occur each year from people trying to load or unload ATVs, motorcycles, equipment from trailers? Significant. All ages. We designed a trailer system that sits down on the ground when it's not in use. It's powered by just your standard pickup truck hitch or a remote battery that you actually have on the trailer system. So this eliminates that problem. You aren't going to slip, trip, and fall off the trailer, hurting yourself. You aren't going to have a problem actually backing off the trailer system and being crushed by it. It was something that one of our individuals felt pretty near and dear about, since a friend of his was killed a couple of years ago doing that. So that's why we developed it. We have found that it is very practical, not only for flatbed trailers, but we also have created the Asylum ice fishing pull-behind trailer system, where you set it down on the ground, pull it around on the ice, and you're good to go. No raising, lowering. It all works right off the electrical system, so it's a very, very handy thing. These could also be used for emergency management trailers. They can be used for food preparation trailers if you were going to take it out to an event. We can build these, we can custom build these however the individual actually wants. Beautiful trailers made all out of aluminum. It's a lifetime product. Now, those are a couple products that we actually produce at the present time. But obviously, we have other things in the works. So how about a product that uses waste heat to generate the electricity for a home? Or how about being able to produce 140 to 225% of a crop using the same basic footprint? Those are products that we're working on right now, and because they haven't been patented and we're working on the prototypes, that's about all that I can tell you about. But those products will be coming out of the pipeline within the next couple of years. So, you know, some people look at the gloom and doom of things, but we're pretty excited about the future. It's a future where the products that we and others have developed can help people protect what they've worked so hard for. Products that make it safer for people at work and at play. At T3, we are making what was once thought impossible possible. So with that, thank you, and God bless. I have to apologize. This was supposed to actually just go forward as I was taking it forward, and unfortunately, it got a mind of its own, and it just decided to play for you. I'll go through these. I'll go through these a little bit for you right now. Rapid guard. If this were a building that were being protected, concrete goes around it. Structural stands bolt down to it when you're going to actually put it up. The liner base seal actually goes around it, and it protects the building from flooding. Again, it's something that you can handle by hand. No equipment, no extra materials, no extra water, no sand, nothing like that. You spray it off when it's done. You put it back in the box, and you're good to go. For example, this is the ice fishing trailer that we built, and it lowers down to the ground. You pull it around on the ice like a sled. By the way, this is a lot nicer than sitting on a bucket, which is what we used to always do when we were kids. It's very warm inside. And you can cook too. This is it down on the ice out on, I believe it's Castle Rock Lake. This is a flatbed design for your ATVs. Again, it's down on the ground. And those are the other things. If you'd like to actually check out some of our products, you can find them at rapidguardbarriers.com and t3trailers.com. Again, we believe that it's important to be all American made. All of our products are 100% American made in all the components that actually go in them. Except maybe the tires. I don't think we make tires in the United States, no.
How are you finding your customers?
Lead generation is generally done by going into the areas and talking to the people there. There are something called 411 impact statements. The government has all of the information about every place that has ever flooded. They will not give you anything about that, citing privacy concerns. Although when a person goes to actually sell a property, the property has to be listed as having flooded. We've asked multiple times to actually get addresses and things like that because that's all we need. It's just that the FEMA flood maps are never up to date and really aren't that accurate. For example, in the flooding that occurred in Louisiana twice last year, over half of those homes and businesses were not within FEMA flood map areas. So that's a problem. We are working on distributorships so that people from those particular areas, people with more knowledge, more aggregate knowledge, can actually address some of those things. I would love to have more availability of that because then we can be a little bit better at targeting those areas.
I want to clear up a little confusion in my mind about your company versus your products.
Sure.
T3 Investments is a technology innovation firm that creates multiple product things, and currently your products are the Rapid Guard and the trailer system. Is Ice Asylum your brand? Okay, so Rapid Guard is a flood mitigation home protection system. Ice Asylum is a trailer thing for ice fishermen specifically, but also it's a trailer technology that has multiple sub-branding, because ATV, motorcycles, camping, potentially accessibility for handicapped individuals, things like that. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, T3 is the parent company, is the prototyping company. The products are actually listed separately because they cover a wide range of applications. Go ahead.
Maybe this is a variation on the earlier question, but so how are you finding the next problem that you're going to solve? So I mean, it seems like for the products that you have and the products that are in the pipeline, it's about identifying a problem and then the solution, obviously. But how are you picking the pipeline of problems that you want to solve?
I guess what we looked at originally are problems that affect lots and lots of people. With Rapid Guard, I was originally in the heavy earthwork business. We were in the heavy construction business, and an area close to where I live had some extreme flooding. And I knew a lot of the people that were there. Some were friends of mine. One individual actually worked for us. And 2 years later, we went and tore all the buildings down and pretty much demolished, a third of the town. And over that time, I had the opportunity to talk to a lot of the people that were affected by it. And after hearing kind of their horror stories, and then looking at what not only the cost of tearing those buildings down, landfilling them, and turning that area back into just non-usable space. I looked at the community who had to pick up all of the maintenance of those properties, but could no longer generate any tax revenue. And when I thought about it, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I have ever heard of in my life. Why wouldn't you just protect the buildings from flooding? And so that was the reason why Rapid Guard was developed. There was a lot of suffering in that. Like I said, with the trailer system, the suspension system is actually the patentable part of it. It's the part that's different from anything that's actually out there. We have a provisional patent out there right now. Like I told you, an individual that we worked with knew someone that had been killed in unloading an ATV from a trailer. It was a flip-over accident. The thing landed on top of him and he died. And so, knowing from the prior business that there were a lot of slips, trips, and falls off the trailers, the higher the trailer, the worse the injuries, we decided that we would grab that next. On the waste heat, that was something that I had contemplated years ago, because I saw a system that was working that did not consume all of the heat that was being produced. And so we decided to move forward on that, because we can gather that heat and use the energy of that heat to actually create electricity. And then, of course, on the last one, well, you're talking about something that's a $20 billion a year industry, and we just saw the opportunity to lessen the cost and expand the footprint for individuals that are there. So, most of these had to do with something out of necessity. The last one is probably something of an opportunity that we've actually looked at. But these have all come just from us. Sir?
Two questions about your flood prevention system.
Yes.
One, as it's shown there, what's the path of the water out of the area when it comes?
The path of the water out of the area?
Yeah, I mean, the water comes, what happens to it?
Goes back to where it came. In other words, the floodwaters come up,
Yeah.
floodwaters go down.
I know, is this like a dam?
No. It encircles
Yeah?
the home.
Yeah.
So yes, it basically would be like a dam
Okay,
around the home.
so it's damming the home.
Yes.
Question, so that's why the elevation is the way it is?
Yes.
Because it's the elevation that is expected to flood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're slightly higher than the elevation.
Right, well, yeah, duh. Yeah, I get that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
How big is your team and what's your makeup?
We have five individuals that actually work for us. I have a machinist and welder that does most of our preliminary fabrication. I'm a civil engineer by trade, or by training, I guess. Owned a heavy earthwork company for 35 years, our family. And we have some office staff that are, I guess you could say their main goal has been to keep us actually flowing. They take care of the insurance, they take care of the financials, they take care of other things. If I were to say that there was a place where we could benefit the most, it would be specific people that love to sell. I love to build things. That's what I like to do. There are others that have a much better talent than what I do at selling. And that's why we're going to expand the opportunities for distributorships for our products.
Well, that leads to my big question, which is, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you are in the innovation, invention, development, patenting, and potentially licensing business, because I could see that system, assuming it gets a full patent, being embraced by everybody who does trailering, whether it's Polaris or Triton Trailers in Hartford, Wisconsin, Heartland or Hartford, I forget which. You know, anybody who deals with a trailer is going to look at that and go, give me some of that. Therefore, licensing, to me, is your product. And kind of stick to your knitting, which is the innovation, inventing, stuff like that. Because you're talking about building out a sales force to go into market for multiple products that then are competing in a really vicious marketplace, as opposed to making the 1 or 2 or 15 or 50 big sales that could allow you to do what you do best. Is that part of your plan, or have you thought about that?
Yes. In a perfect world, that's exactly what we would like to do. When confronted with reality, though, having a few sales under the belt is what all of these companies are actually looking for. Whether it be you know, outright patent or outright purchase of patent rights or licensing. Everyone would like to actually have some significant sales under the belt so that they feel real comfortable with it. Now, I think what you're saying is 100% spot on, and that's what we would like to pursue. We will never produce like a General Motors. You know, some people are just a lot better than that. There are trailer companies that are out there that will produce the product for half the price that we can actually produce it for. But getting to those people and having them sign the non-disclosure agreement and then taking a look at the product it's an issue for us right now, because we don't have all of the contacts that maybe we should have in order to actually promote this market.
Question.
Michael?
Kind of similar, that's where my mind is going to. So I guess my next question is, if it sounds like your goal is to double down on the
technology innovation side instead of the manufacturing side. And if that's the case, how does like physical, what is the sort of customer development cycle with physical innovations like this? So you always hear the like wait for version 2 kind of mantra from people. Do you have customers who say like, all right, now that we've gotten this version 1 done, we're ready to pull the trigger on all these updates? Or is it sort of once the technology is there, it's handed off and kind of done? In a future world where you've doubled down on the technology innovation side.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're asking me is that originally we have a product and the product works, but if we make updates to the product, or if people want to wait to see if they can get something bigger and better, they're actually holding back for version 2 of it.
Right.
That's an interesting question.
I don't know that it has a good answer.
With the flood barrier system, I believe that the product is complete. We may be able to come up with a quicker fastener for it, but as far as the product itself goes, I don't see where we can make it an awful lot better. With the trailer suspension system, I do believe that it can be made significantly cheaper if it were forged and mass produced, and that version 2.0 would be less expensive. So yeah, it's possible. Who have I not? I have not answered a question from you yet. I'm sorry.
Well, it seems, so a lot of startups and entrepreneurs, they come up with a problem, and even before they MVP something, they've identified a potential customer, and then the development goes sort of hand in hand in collaboration with it. So by the time you have your MVP, your minimal viable product, you're working with a actual real life customer that's willing to try it out and practice it. And so, you know, in something like where you identify, I think this is a problem, already starting to identify who would be our ultimate customer and then approaching them to say, we've got this idea, it's of no risk to you, but we want to establish a relationship. So, you know, with your ICE Asylum trailer, if you had partnered early in a small case, like say with U-Haul, right? And then so you develop it in a collaboration with U-Haul, then as soon as you have your MVP and they may have participated in ways in which you can't think of making it better, but they might be able to think about making it better. You have that early stamp of approval from a customer, rather than have something that is ready for market, but you don't, after it's ready for market is when you start to develop your customer base. So I think that especially because you have 4 different products in 4 different areas, and so developing it after the fact is really hard, because you need salespeople that are in maybe, you know, emergency management, and then in transportation, and then in ag, you know, the ag space, and then in the home heating space. That's 4 different areas. But no one salesperson is ever going to be able to sell products into those 4 areas. But if you had a customer from the get-go, that will open up a lot of doors for you as you start to develop your products. So I just think of like where you do your outreach and your development might be a little bit different.
Wise words to any of you that actually are thinking of developing products, because that's where we've fallen short, and that's what we should have done prior to actually going past the conceptual stage of the product, or at least the prototyping of the product. is trying to develop a customer base before the product was actually out there. That is, again, very wise words.
I just want to really quick on Chandra's point. I agree with that, and that's something that, for example, we do at Health Bank, we have development partners, and so we cut a better deal with them for them to tell us product updates constantly, but then they also serve for us as a reference customer. So we can send new customers to talk to them to make the sales cycle shorter on the other end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just for the products that you already have, and you're talking about how you need to kind of show, like, this, people have used this, and this is what they said about it, and this is what they, I'm wondering if you've thought about, since you don't have a team around it, something like events or something that could give you a high profile and a lot of access to feedback. Like, we're entering the season of a lot of ice fishing competitions, and I'm wondering if there's a way, can you donate the trailer for the day? Or, with the, sorry, week 5 of a cold. Sorry, anybody else who feels this way?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying for a record in 2018. Or the trailer that drops. I mean, thinking about a client that you could let use it for a little while to get feedback from, and then also you get the imagery of somebody using it, so it's not just a stationary device. Like, for my mind initially went to, we have a lot of rural search and rescue teams that it would be ideal for, and that would be a great way to get some really this product's important, this saved time, and then the rescuers weren't in danger. I'm just thinking if because you don't have a team around it, if there's a way for you to think of isolated things that could give you a large bang for a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's very, very, very good idea.
I'd like to kind of back up to the development process. So you have a couple of fabrication people, kind of the creative source, and a few admin. And I'm wondering, when could you kind of talk about the process, and specifically regarding the use of technology? And I'm just curious, I don't have a right or wrong answer, but are you kind of the type of shop where you get an idea, put it on a napkin, give it to your prototype guy, and then fiddle with it? Or are you kind of more towards the side of using CAD/CAM, getting the computer to iron out all the bugs before you prototype? Or is there something kind of in the middle of all that?
Oh, no. For example, Rapid Guard was drawn on paper. Old drafting technique. I'm not sure that anybody actually does that, but that's what I did. The suspension system, we drew it up, we cut it out, cut out a rough copy of it, and then we tested it. We tested it very primitively, but we tested it. First one, failed. Cut the suspension units. Second one, failed. It wasn't the right shape. Third one actually worked. So I will have to say that we have not relied on super fancy techniques to do it, although right now we're actually using Fusion 360 for some of our applications and design to get things done quickly and a little bit easier. Doesn't take near as many erasers, not near as many pencils to take care of. And but we've moved that process along a little bit slower, more out of necessity than anything else. So did I answer that?
Yes.
Are we good? Okay. Anything else, John? Yes, sir.
Couple of questions. Do you manufacture in the United States?
Yep.
So you find subcontractors, once you're prototyped out, and you find a subcontractor to make, you don't make it.
Right now we're building it ourselves. We're building
all in the world
ourselves.
With 1 or 2 guys? Wow, amazing.
Well, in the initial stages where you don't have large sales,
yes,
you can do that.
Yep.
We do have some Wisconsin manufacturing companies that would like to do our fabrication of aluminum for us, and have said that they could do that. I believe that their prices would be correct. And as we get into an area where things start to mount up on us, we will subcontract that type of work.
And then the next question is, have you looked at this system or thought, you probably thought about this, I guess, probably way behind you. Have you thought about this system for semi-trailers? I mean, 18-wheelers, semi-trailers, because in order to unload today, they have to back up to a dock, or they have to have some kind of funky ramping system, which really commercially doesn't exist in a good form. I happen to know that. And so if they could now I've seen some of that technology kind of hydraulically on moving trucks, I think.
Lowboy trailers.
What's that?
Lowboy trailers.
Yeah,
that move
but
heavy equipment on.
But do they? You would know. But that's a kind of a different technology than what you're talking about here. Is your technology applicable to large-scale trailers? Is the question.
Yeah, you could.
Could you partner? My ultimate question is, could you go down to Stoughton and partner with Stoughton Trailers, who makes 70% of the trailers on the road on the highway right now, and have as these people were talking about, have a locked-in customer for trials and so on and so forth, and have a two-way partnership?
Sure. It's a very good question. The individual works with me spoke of that specifically, and that was always his hope, is that we could expand that for use in semi-trailer systems. And there's no reason that you can't. It basically just works on a multiplier. If we have X number of thickness inches, we would just have to have X number more inches. The dynamics and the physics are all the same, yes.
Kind of a camming system?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
to me, I mean, locally, semi-locally, Stoughton, we've got huge manufacture of thousands of trailers a year, and a great opportunity for, I mean, you'd have to work out the commercial side, but a great opportunity for a potential partnership with a company who could be a customer.
That's a very good company, too.
Yeah.
Stoughton is a very good company.
Just to feed off what he was saying too, I see my father has a transportation company, and I just see it. I mean, they usually have he only has 2 loading docks, and the amount it minimizes the amount that you can.
Yeah.
You're waiting to get your truck loaded, unloaded, but if you could just drop it,
and
have someone go in and out versus having to be
money.
actually in the loading dock, it would make a huge difference on your efficiency and the time that the drivers are waiting. So.
Did he ever have one of his drivers actually blow a knee? Slipping
Oh,
off
I don't
trailer,
know.
falling off the trailer?
I don't know.
It happens. It does. It does. And yes, like I said, the technology could be used for that type of application. I mean, those trailers only haul 60,000 pounds anyway, so we're not talking about huge.
I mean, the price would be, obviously, you're comparing putting another dock on your father's company or 2 docks, which is probably 150, 200 grand a pop, versus, let's say you want most of the trucks to be conventional, but you want 1 or 2 or 3 to be your type, just to offload your workload.
No, very, very good thought. Very good thought. There's another really cool thing about these. I can change that suspension unit in 10 minutes per side with just a wrench and a screwdriver.
All right, I'm going to cut it off there. Sorry. Not necessarily cut it off, but this is for you. Thank you for presenting. And then this is the coveted.
The coveted give a cup?
Yes, give a cup. So, this is your pressure to give ours.
All right. Well, I do have to say that one of the questions that I got was one that I should have thought of long before we actually got to the finished products that are actually here. And that was, you should probably go out and check and see if there are any customers for these products before you go ahead and spend the money in developing and patenting them. So that's going to be why. I do appreciate you all taking time to spend with me today. The questions were fantastic. I really appreciate you taking time, and it was really a pleasure to come here to Million Cups today. So, thank you.